her with 3 more programs, not the same theme necessarily, from ageism to your legal documents to the library. And I wanted to get one program in that would be happiness. And the science of happiness is all over the place on the internet. But if y'all know any doctors or scientists or anybody out there who does a program on happiness, because that and exercise and eating Mediterranean diet seems to be the key to the kingdom for us staying as vital as we presently are. So thank you very much. And now Pat Sullivan.
Good morning, and I just welcome all of our members. Just wanted anyone who's with us today who is not a member to know that on your table there is a membership form with an addressed and stamped envelope, and all you would have to do would be put your check in there and drop it in the mail, and we would love for you to become a member. Also on your tables are our program for April. Dr. Gendron has spoken here once before. Some of you may have seen her, but I'm glad the rest of us are going to get a chance to hear her again because she is incredibly inspiring. I wasn't really sure what the term ageism meant, but it basically means a bias toward older people. And she talks about how not to accept that and internalize it, but all the great opportunities that still lay ahead of us and are available to us. So anyway, I hope that you will be with us next month for this great program. We do. In fact, we may have 2 copies. Ted says we have 2 copies. I donated one, and I think somebody else did as well. Also, on the flyer, you'll note if you do want to have your own copy, it's very easy to get it off of Amazon. It's about $12, and she's very happy to sign it for you if you'd like to bring it to the program.
Here we are learning to write our obituaries. Isn't this going to be fun? You all have read about Jennifer Moss. I don't need to tell you about her. It was in the Informer and flyers that you got, and it is a real pleasure to present to you Jennifer Moss.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm gonna have to get used to this because I'm a loud talker anyway, so I don't wanna scream. Does everybody can hear me? Good? Okay, welcome everyone. Look at all your beautiful faces. This is so exciting. I know you can't wait to talk about death and dying. It's great. Okay, I am Jennifer Moss. I work for Bliley's, the funeral home. I'm actually a social worker by trade. I used to do outreach and education for victims' rights. So this is just a little bit of a different topic. My family are like, oh, really? You love all these very happy topics. What in the world? This is Courtney. Courtney works for, she does advanced care planning for Bliley's as well. She's helping me today because this is a little bit of a larger group. I do usually do some writing. So we're gonna have to kind of figure out how we're gonna do this. You are gonna get a workbook. But if I gave you the workbook now, you would be writing and not listening to me. And so I have to make you listen to me for a little bit because we have to understand what, when, where, and why we're doing this so that we can write a really good obituary today. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's start with, is there anyone that wants to say why they this was an interesting topic for them? Yeah, this. Might have to walk around. I'll just repeat it back. Does anyone want to raise their hand and be brave and say like, hey, why did I want to write this? Why do I want to be here today? I'll repeat it.
It's because I'm in messages as well, and I want to get it done and over with.
She wants to get it done and over with. Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
I don't want to leave it to my surviving relatives or children. Don't want to leave it to my surviving children to have to do it. They might get something wrong.
Because they might get something wrong. That's right. That's right. Yes.
Well.
She's coming around. So I love that answer because what I try to tell people is I have 2 boys. I have 2 20-year-old boys. And let me just tell you right now, we went on a trip and I said to them, we were on an airplane, and I said, hey, I will give the first person that can say my middle name $100. And guess what? I didn't have to spend any money. Nobody knew my middle name. There you go. They would get it wrong for sure. What was your answer?
Well, I just wanted to tell a little story about my mother, and she wrote her own obituary. She asked me to type it for her, and she told me if I changed one word, she would haunt me forever.
I love her.
And let me just tell you, it was a bit lengthy
Yes.
for our hometown newspaper, and I did sort of mention that, and she said again, you change one word and I will haunt you forever.
I love that.
So therefore, one word never got
It
changed.
never got changed. I bet you spent a pretty penny on that one. Yes. Anyone else want to offer?
Barbara, raise your hand.
Barbara.
And procrastinated for years.
She's been procrastinating for years and needs to get it done, right? Yes. Okay. Well, those are all excellent reasons to be here today. Part of what we're doing is really talking about kind of why we're doing this. I have 3 promises for you for today. Okay. Number 1, I'm going to make this fun. I know it's obituary writing, but I promise I'm going to make it fun. Because it's really just a life review, right? Number 2, we are not going to finish today. You are not going to walk out of here with an obituary today. If we did that, it would not be good, okay? We are getting started. I'm going to give you and then the next thing is, I'm going to tell you at the end of this class, so you have to pay attention, how to save a couple $1,000s on your obituary, okay? There are some tricks. We're going to talk about it. But I can't tell you now because then you just get up and leave. So, I am going to save that for the end on saving some money. Okay. Now, everybody, does anyone have a calendar that they use, or they have it with them on their phones? If you would get out your calendar or get out a piece of paper and make a date for yourself. Today is Thursday at 10 o'clock. How about next Tuesday at 10 o'clock or next Thursday at 10 o'clock? Let's get that on your calendar right now. Go ahead and make an appointment for yourself. What you're going to do next week on Tuesday or Thursday at 10 o'clock is pull these books back out and you're going to work on them again, okay? Because if you don't finish it, then there's no point in being here, right? So it's really hard because we all procrastinate a lot. This will help you get it on your calendar. Okay. Who has written an obituary before? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Let me see them high. Raise your hand if that was a easy task. Raise your hand if it was a hard task. Okay. That's why you guys should be here today, because it's not an easy task for someone to do for someone else. You may have known someone most of your life, but you probably didn't know every little thing. And you also didn't maybe know what the things that you want to put in, the things that you want to take out. Does everybody read obituaries? Yes. Pretty much you all read obituaries. Yes. And there's all kinds of obituaries. I want to start by saying today, there is no right or wrong way to do an obituary, okay? I think a lot of people feel like there's a template that you're supposed to follow and the things that you're supposed to have in it. What I'm here to tell you today is you can write anything you want to in it, okay? You can add your friends' names, you can put your dog in there, anything that's important to you, you get to have control over that, okay? So don't feel like we have to be on a template. The other thing is we also, again, because I'm going to tell you the money saving at the end, we're gonna write a lot. We're gonna make it long and lengthy and get all the things in it, right? We'll go back and cut it and talk about saving money later. Okay, first question Courtney's gonna help me with. Okay, so why do we write obituaries? What is the purpose? And I'll just repeat it back. Anybody raise your hand? Or just yell out why. Why do we write obituaries?
Let people know you died.
Let people know you died. Right? Want to be remembered. Yep. Brag. You brag about yourself. Yeah. What else? Why else do we write obituaries? Yes.
Genealogical record.
Genealogy. Yes. Excellent. That is what people use. To follow their genealogy, for sure, absolutely. What's another one? Yes.
This is a little off, but I had a friend who died 20 years ago, he was 60. And the children wrote his obituary, but it didn't paint a picture of him at all. And that's when I said,
Right. So sometimes the obituaries don't have a lot of information and didn't really capture that person. Yes.
a last thank you.
A last thank you. Love that. We're going to talk about that. I love that. Yes.
It shows people what was important to you.
It shows people what was important to you. That's right. Someone else over here, I thought, yeah. Associations, yep, associations. You're missing a really big one, guys. Right now, you're at a B+. Let's get to an A. It could be proved that you can die, that you died. What is in an obituary yes?
Where your funeral is.
Where to go? Good job. There you go, A+. Now we're at an A+. Okay, so part of an obituary, which we do forget about sometimes, is where to go. The other piece of that is what to do, okay? We need to tell people what to do, where to go, what to do, how to support that family, right? We're gonna talk about that. Good job, okay. All right, my next question is, because I don't have a memory, I'll forget. Okay, who reads obituaries? No, I'm saying who is going to read your obituary? Why do we write them? Who's reading them? Your family, your friends, your what? Your peers. Your what? Your enemies, fair. They might be excited, okay. Who else?
People who just like to see how other people express themselves.
People who like to read, just like to read the obituaries. Yep. You're the closest to this next, B-. There's one more group that's reading these obituaries that's actually one of the most important. Your community, but
People who owe you money.
Okay, that's a really good one. People who owe you money, or you owe them money. Perfect. I love it. Yes, in the back.
Hackers and scammers.
Hackers and scammers. You know, they're actually not reading it quite as much anymore. They're getting that stuff a lot easier other places. What else? There's a group you're missing. Yes. Your lawyer, yes. So there's yes. People you knew in the past. You're still missing a big group. We're at an A- right now. Let's get to an A+. I'm gonna give you the cheat sheet. A lot of people who are reading the obituaries and that are reading the obituaries are people who never knew you. Okay? They are the people that knew your family and friends. Okay? My mother-in-law passed. When she passed, my husband's coworkers came to the funeral. Okay? My friends came to the funeral. My children's soccer friends came to the funeral, right? They had never met my mother-in-law. They did not know her. They were there to support us, right? And what did they get out of the obituary? Number one, they learned something about her. They also that gives them a connection to talk to us about her. Wow, I didn't know she was such a great baker. Maybe that's why you are so fat. You know, but it's a conversation, right? And also a where to go and what to do, how to support your family there. So that is a big group of people we cannot forget that is reading our obituaries and why it's important, okay? Now, ready? All right, how are we doing, Courtney? Good, doing great, okay. We're an A- here, we're good. This is a good group. Okay, so memorable obituaries. Do you, who's, some memorable obituaries, just yell them out.
My cousin's was wonderful.
Because, why or what was memorable about it?
Well, it was written by his family and
Uh-huh.
told everyone what a wonderful father, son, the whole thing. And it was just a very touchy feeling thing. It wasn't
Okay.
so much about all the things he did, but all the things he meant to all the people.
All the things that the one that stuck out in her mind was one that was the things that made, it wasn't just the list of things that the person did, but it was like what he meant to those people, right? Yes,
An obituary that's written by the person.
the deceased.
Deceased.
That,
yeah.
he said that one of them was, the memorable for him is one that was written by the deceased, that they wrote it. Yes. Oh, someone here, yeah? Yes.
Actually, I have a question to follow up on that. How do you feel about first person obituaries? I think they're wonderful.
I think they're wonderful. That's part of what we're going to talk about next. You actually get to decide that. You get to decide, does that feel comfortable for you? Do you want to write it in the first person? Or do you want to write it about yourself? Who usually writes obituaries? You guys are super progressive. Y'all are going to write your own. But who's usually writing them? Other people.
I know of an obituary that was written by the much younger people in the family.
Right?
And there were two serious mistakes.
Yep, that can happen.
Didn't ask.
A lot of times it's written by someone who's left that may not know the things that are important to the person. So it may not be correct, right? What are some other ones? Anyone ever see some funny ones?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Great. Okay. Now, I'm going to give out your books so you can start working on this. We're going to pass them around. Let's see. And one of the things that I do hear people say, someone said in the back, why do we write obituaries? To brag. And the funny thing is that if you think about it also, it's because the family or somebody in the family's written that, so they're bragging about that person. So it's not usually the person that's actually doing it. All right, so when you get your books, you're gonna open them up. Now, this is a draft. This is just writing prompts we're gonna work on. I'm gonna give you some time to write in them. You can write all over it. You're gonna change it. What you're gonna find is if you actually keep that appointment with yourself for next week to work on this book again, you are going to change things that you wrote today. You're going to remember things that you didn't remember today, right? I know I do my best memories driving in the car and I'm like, oh, I remember that. So it's important to come back to this. This is nothing that you write today, you have to use, okay? So the first question in the book talks about the style, and I think someone brought that up. Do you need any more? We have one. Do you need one? I need one. Sure. I've got plenty, and I've got extras but if people want to take them later. All right. So the first thing we're going to look at is the style, and this is very important. You get to choose. If you are a humorous person, that might be great. If you are not really a humorous person, you probably don't want to write a humorous, obituary. That doesn't really fit with who you are, right? Grateful. Someone said in here that they, a thank you, that they can thank people. I love that because, by the way, if you're writing this in the first person, or honestly even in the third person, you can be grateful for the people in your life, grateful for your family. You can mention that. You can be grateful for something that you went through. Inspirational. Inspire someone to do something. If there is something in your life that you feel like you hold that you can inspire others to do, think about that, okay? You can use these words to inspire people. The other thing is that it doesn't have to be this perfect, glowing, obituary. We don't all live perfect, glowing lives that everything is perfect all the time, right? And it's okay, and think of how it would be amazing if there was a struggle that you went through in your life. Maybe it was you overcame a health issue. Maybe it was something that happened in your life that you overcame, and you want to inspire others that they can do that as well. This is your moment to do that. Think of how that might affect other people in their lives, right? Educational. Teach us something. You all know a lot more information and things about the world and life that Courtney and I have no idea about, okay? Teach us something. I love going to a funeral, like a eulogy, and learning something about that person, but also learning something. It's great. This can be your canvas. And then biographical, just, you can make it very biographical, telling about your life. You want to keep it, that's the kind of person you are, and you want to just keep it real plain and easy, that's great too, right? And that would be, genealogy and things like that. Then you're going to want to include a lot of people and keep it in line. Does that make sense? All right, so take just a minute. You've got pens on on your table. Circle, draw through, but kind of what you think your style wants to be, okay? What do you want your style to be of your obituary? What kind of yes, question?
Can you have a little bit of each?
You can have a little bit of each, absolutely. You can circle all of them. If you want all of them, circle all of them. You want a little bit of everything. But kind of get an idea, just get you going. All right, decide now also if you want your first person or third person. You can just circle what you want for now. And by the way, you can change this. You can go back and rewrite it later. All right, now, this, I think, is one of the most important pieces of this book. Okay, everybody look at and write 3 words that describe you or your life. 3 adjectives, and write that down. Everybody do that. All right, does anybody want to share theirs? Does anyone want to share their 3 words that describe them? Yes, ma'am.
Joy, Joyful,
Joyful.
persistent,
Persistent.
caring.
Caring. I love that. Joyful, persistent, and caring. Yes.
Enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic,
Encouraging.
encouraging,
Grateful.
grateful. I love it. One more. One more brave soul. Tell me your adjectives. Yes.
Curious.
Curious.
Someone once said, I always ask why.
She always asks why, so she's curious.
Helpful
Helpful
and grateful.
and grateful. Those are wonderful words. Now, here is why these words are literally the most important thing, okay? These three words that you've written down describe who you are. In your obituary, I want to read her obituary, and I want to think, I'm not going to remember your words again. Joyful. I want to say, wow, she was such a joyful person. She was such a persistent person. And she was such a caring person. Now, she's not going to list those three things and say, oh, Mary was all these three things. No, you're going to write it, and I want to feel that. I want to walk away and feel that. I want to be able to look at her family and say, wow, I did not realize she was such a persistent person. That's so funny, right? Okay, that's a good start. That is going to give the flavor of what you're going to write today, okay? Now, we are going to work on I'm going to give you some time to work on the details. Everybody go to the next page, next couple pages. I'm just going to give you guys some time here. We're going to have a little quiet time, and then we're going to share. And you're going to fill in some of these questions. Courtney and I are going to wander around to the tables, because when you do this, things are going to come up for you, like writing your name, and how do I write my name, and do I include my maiden name? Do I include my nickname? Things like that. So we're going to go around and kind of help you guys and answer some questions. I would say, remember when you're writing this information, first of all, let's go back to who's reading it, because and why we're writing it. Okay, those are the two also very important things. Who's reading it? It could be strangers. They want to make sure that they recognize who you are. Like, if you were, Coach Wiley all your life, but your name was, Gary something Ruth, they won't know who you are. You have to put Coach Wiley so that they know who you are, a nickname, right? The preceded, in death, and survived by, you're not going to obviously know those, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that you just want to make notes. Do you want to include everybody? Do you only want to include your immediate family? Is it important to you to include your parents? I don't want to include my parents. I want to include my dog. I want to include this aunt that was, one of my favorite people that raised me. You get to decide. This is a big bone of contention for families, because people get left out or misspelled names, and they take it very personally. So take some time to list in who, it doesn't matter what block you put them in. That, hey, I only want to keep it short. I just want to keep my immediate family. Or you want to list your people of who you want to be there. Yes.
I have a question.
Okay. Is this about yours?
No.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I claim to have 2 obituaries, and the reason for that is, just as people might think about this, I was born and raised
Yes.
in a small town in Illinois.
Yep.
So, and that's where I will be buried. So I plan to have 2 obituaries. I mean, kind of the same, but
Yeah.
they're kind of different because
Sure.
it's different audiences.
Uh-huh.
So, just a thought for people who might have that same situation, that you might want to have 2. I'll have one on file in the funeral home in Illinois.
I'll explain what she's saying.
And one on file at the funeral home
Yep.
here in Richmond.
Yeah.
So, just a thought.
Yes,
Because-
yes.
Because I would definitely want people in my hometown to know, but it would be a little different for
Yes. There towards the back of the book, it asks you what papers you wanna list it in. We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna give you some time, we're gonna talk about that. But what she's saying is, you may wanna list this in more than one location. My parents are from Danville, Virginia. But I am gonna list I'm gonna have an obituary in Danville, in the Danville paper, and I'm gonna list one in Richmond as well. Because they have family still there, right? So you have to think about that. I lived in Ohio for 2 years. I'm not going to post it in the Ohio paper. I'm not gonna probably mention that I even lived there. That it wasn't that important to me. So it's not biographical in that you have to list everything. It's what's important to you and what resonates with you. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to start working on this, and we're gonna wander around and just answer some questions. We're gonna talk about it, and then we'll come back and test your knowledge. We'll see what grade you get by the end of this. Yeah, if you have a question, just raise your hand, we'll come over.
many that aren't here.
Is the switch.
Okay, now, that was not a lot of time, I know, but we have, this class usually is about an hour and a half, and there's 2 parts to it. So we're just giving you a little intro today, and a lot of this you're gonna have to do on your own. On your table, you'll see some flyers. I do other classes from other topics, not here, but I do it at Wiley's. We have an upstairs location that's got like a training room. If you want to sign up for any of these other classes, feel free. They're open to the public, different topics. And I will do another session of the obituary writing class that's a little bit longer, so if you want to take that as well. Yeah. All right. Now, questions. Let's see here. Who thought this was easy? Who thought this was kind of hard? Right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard to write about yourself, let alone, someone else writing this stuff about you. I can't remember a lot of these questions, right? And then it's also hard to remember, like, oh, I don't really want to put this in there, that kind of thing. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's go to the question on, and I'm sure that you did not get to it, but the question on memorial contributions. Because the 2 things that we talked about is very important is in an obituary is where to go and what to do. Okay, let's talk about the what to do. We're telling people what to do. Okay, everybody wants to send flowers, everybody wants to bring a casserole, everybody wants to do all those things, but you might not want those things, right? And how about making them super meaningful, okay? This is an opportunity to show the person of who you are. Thinking back to the adjectives that describe who you are, okay? For example, let's say that I volunteered at the food bank, and that was an organization that that was an important organization for me, okay? And I passed. Instead of saying, hey, make a donation to the food bank, which is great. Hey, make a donation in lieu of flowers, make a donation to the food bank. But how about if we take that another step further and we say, in lieu of flowers, at my funeral, everybody brings some canned goods so that my family will make a donation to the food bank. Guess what? You've actually given somebody something to do that they really want to do. They want to do something for you. They want to do something for your family, okay? It's a physical act that they can actually bring this food, okay? And then when your family gets there, they walk in and go, oh my gosh, look at all this food that I get to take to the food bank in her honor. Okay? So it doesn't have to be monetary. It also can be if someone in here was really big into volunteering. Encourage people to volunteer once, a year. I encourage, she was a person who volunteered all of her life with these 3 organizations. In lieu of flowers, she is asking that everybody donate 3 hours of their time for the year and volunteer for an organization of their choice. Like, that's great, right? That's awesome. That really tells who you are. So I want you to take just a second and think about things that are that memorial contributions of like, what's important to you in lieu of flowers or donations or something. What's something that people can do? Think that through for just a second. Here's another one. Okay, so not only, let's say you were not someone who volunteered and you were not someone who did any of those things, but you were someone who wore Hawaiian shirts every day. Okay, you were known for wearing Hawaiian shirts every day. There was a man that passed and I was walking through Blyle's and going to it, and everybody there was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, including our staff. And I'm like, what is going on here? And they said, oh, well, the gentleman who passed wore Hawaiian shirts every day. Every day, he was known for it, okay? So in lieu of flowers and donations, they asked everybody that came to the funeral to wear a Hawaiian shirt. And if you didn't have a Hawaiian shirt, they were gonna have all of his Hawaiian shirts there that you could take one and wear it and take it home with you. So guess what? Now the family was like brilliant. Now they've gotten rid of half of his clothes. Right? It's brilliant. And then think about what the family thinks when they walk in the room and they see all of these people standing there in Hawaiian shirts reminding them of their dad. Amazing. It doesn't cost anything to think that stuff through. Think that through. So a lady, I've done these classes all the time, and she said, well, I have a book collection. I'm into books. That's what my book, whatever. And I said, bring your books to the funeral and have people take the books. They go to somewhere that's meaningful. They get read, that's got your name in it, whatever, If you're if you do art or jewelry or anything, or you're known for wearing scarves, whatever it is, think that through, okay? Take just a minute. This is not an easy thing. But if there's something that you can think of really quickly, jot that down. You can come back to it later. But those are really important, okay? Now, we're talking about the where to go and what to do. Raise your hand if you've made your funeral plans. Put your hand down if it's in your will. Leave it up if it's not. If it's in your will, you don't have a funeral plan. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you, my mom said the same thing. She said, oh, I've made all my funeral plans. I've put it in my will. And I said, great, Mom, we're gonna read that like 3 months later. That'll be great. You're gonna be in the ground. We're gonna be doing whatever we're doing for you. Thanks, that's not helpful. My dad said, oh, well, mine's better. I put mine in the safety deposit box. I said, oh, that's great. That'll take me like 6 months to find, right? Okay, if it's in your will, it's not, you haven't made your plans, okay? That's not what we're talking about here today. That's not what I do. Courtney does that. She said a few of you have asked about it. She has some information and we'll walk around and give that to you if anybody wants that. But you can sign up if you want to chat with her or whatever. But that's not a plan, okay? You got to have a plan. And you got to put it and tell your family where it is, right? And if you don't, so my mom always says, I just want the cheapest thing, throw me in a ditch, I don't care, blah, 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 do whatever. And I'm like, well, did you pay for that? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, then I'm gonna do what I wanna do, okay? I don't have to do what you wanna do, right? I'm not gonna listen to her, and I'm not gonna throw her in the ditch. So, just keep that in mind, because a lot of you here have opinions on how you want your obituary written, and I'm sure you do about what you want at your end of life party, your bon voyage party. All right, now I promised you a couple hacks, and we're almost done. Here is the money saving hack. Okay, everybody ready? It's pretty easy. Okay. Now, when you see in the Richmond Times-Dispatch or maybe the Danville paper or whatever, they charge you by the line. And the line is like this, like a couple of words. It's not even like a whole line, right? And you can write all of the things that you want to write in there, and it'll cost you like $3,000, okay? Nobody wants to do that, right? Here's your hack. Number one, a lot of people, especially our generation, are reading the obituaries online, right? Okay, if you are working with a full-service funeral home, they will post your obituary on their website. I know at Bliley's it's for free. I would assume most of them. I don't know the other companies, but if anything, it would be a nominal amount of money, right? But you can post that typically on the Bliley, at least on the Bliley's website, for free. Some of the other ones might charge you $100 or something like that. I don't know exactly, but you can write a really long and everything you want in that obituary online. In the Richmond Times-Dispatch, that charges you a lot of money, okay, so now you gotta write at least 2 obituaries. What do you need? You're gonna write it real short, okay? You're gonna remember who's reading it. What do they wanna know? You need your name. You need maybe your immediate family, mention their names so that people recognize, oh, that was John's mom. That's who that is. You're gonna put the service information, the where to go and what to do. And then you're gonna say, then what'll happen is, for the full obituary, go to the Bliley's website, or go to the Bennett's web, whatever it is, okay? That is how you're saving money, because you've written a really short obituary for the Richmond Times-Dispatch. They're gonna read the long obituary online. So once they like, it's posted at the Bliley's website, and once it's posted on the Bliley's website, other people can share it on their Facebook page, they share it to their friends, and that's where they're gonna read that information, okay? So now you've saved. You came here today and wrote about your obituary, and you just saved $2,000. I'm so proud of you. Yes, question in the back. Suppose you're being cremated. Yes. What about it? Oh, if you're using like a cremation company, they have a website as well. They might charge you for it to post it. Okay, some of them do, some of them don't. It's free. You still post it on their website. Cremation Society or Richmond Cremation or some of those. Yeah. Yes. Anyone? Yes, that's what we're saying, is put it in the newspaper list for the full obituary. Go to the whatever website you have it listed at, whatever funeral home or cremation place that you're using. Yes. Any other, yes, last minute? Yes, so in the short obituary that's going to go in the Richmond Times-Dispatch, that's what I would say. List out the things that you want to put in there. One of them would be where to go, what to do, your name, probably any nicknames if you had, because people only know you by that. You might want to list your immediate family, and that's it, or if there's one particular thing you want to put in there, but you're going to shorten that and then tell them where to go to read the whole obituary. Yes?
I think one of the most looked at is legacy.com.
Yes, and there's legacy.com.
If
Yep.
You've done it and everything, anybody can add an obituary to it.
That's right. There are all kinds of places online. I mean, maybe. I mean, we could maybe. We'll see. Okay. Okay. So the only other, that is about it. We're out of time. You guys are ending. If you want to sign up for another class, you've got things on there. If you want actually to take this class again, it's a little bit longer. It goes through some more information. I'm going to have a sign-up sheet up here as well, and I'll contact you that way. Okay? Thank you all.